following message has been paid for by the New World Order.
Let me take you through a slideshow of events, because it has been a very eventful time this holiday season. Now Christmas may be over, but the joy for us has only just begun. Let's introduce you to slide number 1. Look at this. This is how my night started last week. I was assaulted by not one, but 2 guys. And I was not in a good mood, so I put Kevin Nash and the Big Show in the Tag Team Championship match, and, well, this is what happened. The Young Bucks cheated. They had the help of The Undertaker, Sting, and Kane, and now the NWO do not have the NLW Tag Team Championships. But we would bounce back, as we can see, as we fast forward to later in the night. Now, as we already knew, I had banned Triple H from the building, so he was not a factor. However, Sting, Kane, and The Undertaker decided to stick their nose where it didn't belong for a second time in the same night. But it seems as though we had the last laugh on that night, because, oh, look who it is! Oh, bam! Not 1, but 2 curb stomps. And that one on the thumbtacks, my god. Well, looks as if Tommy Dreamer's not going to be bothering us again, is he? And that wasn't all. He returned for the Christmas edition of Metal, and now, look what happened. Oh no. Oh, Sting, driven right through the table, and then another curb stomp, and R-Truth was victorious. And where are we now? Live tonight. The final night before Havoc. And at Havoc, there's going to be a Buried Alive match between Kane and R-Truth, and there's also going to be an Elimination Chamber match featuring Triple H, The Undertaker, and Sting going up against the NWO. And on that night, like every other night, we will have the last laugh. And we are stronger than ever now, thanks in part to a new addition, Seth Rollins.
This is the final episode before NLW Havoc and the final stop on the road to WrestleMania. This is episode 38, and tonight the wrestlers of NLW are going to have one last chance to stake their claim and get their hands on their rivals and tell their rivals what they're thinking heading into Havoc. And in addition to that, there's so much more, and we've seen at the start of the program what the NWO had to say, and later on tonight the NWO are actually going to be in a matchup before the Elimination Chamber matchup and the Buried Alive match that are going to take place at Havoc. It's going to be a huge 8-man tag featuring the resistance of Triple H, Kane, Undertaker and Sting taking on Shawn Michaels, R-Truth, Kevin Nash and the Big Show. And also tonight, it is the final showdown before the main event of Havoc, which is, for the first time ever, a 30-minute Iron Man match for the world title. AJ Styles and CM Punk signed the contract for that main event matchup, and it happens tonight. And we're still getting incoming information about our next pay-per-view Havoc. And now you can see in the ring, there is the leader of the NWO and the NLW Commissioner. And what has he got to say following on from that message earlier tonight?
Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you the newest member of the NWO, Seth Rollins.
Well, certainly a mixed reaction for the man who revealed himself at the end of last episode to be in collusion with the NWO. The man who's about to make his way out here is Seth Rollins. And this is the kind of young blood that the NWO obviously feels they need. And Rollins now making his way to the ring, and I'll be very intrigued to hear what he has to say, and indeed what the Commissioner has to say about this entire situation. Right there, you see them shaking hands. And Seth Rollins was not a member of the NWO when he attacked the guys at the end of the Extreme Rules match, and he wasn't a member of the NWO when he attacked Sting on Metal. But what is going on here?
I can see you're all surprised. You didn't see this coming. And week after week I come out and I do the same old shtick, and you think I don't have a long-term plan. Well, I do. and he's standing right next to me. The reason that the NWO are going to win all their matches at Havoc and go on to WrestleMania and continue to be dominant is because we seize opportunities. We plan strategically. We aren't fueled by emotion like Triple H, Sting, The Undertaker, Kane, and others who take exception to what we do. We're fueled by money. We're fueled by brains. We are smarter than any other member of the NLW roster. We take what we want and we continue to achieve. Our Havoc, our Truth, is going to prove once again why he is the greatest Intercontinental Champion in NLW history by defending it against Kane in the Buried Alive match. And as for the Elimination Chamber, the 3 members of the NWO going into that Elimination Chamber matchup against Triple H, The Undertaker and Sting is going to be Kevin Nash, Shawn Michaels, and the man standing right next to me, Seth Rollins. Now in case you're wondering about the Big Show, don't worry, my strategy involves him as well. But I'm not just going to give away my plans. Now last week we suffered a hiccup, we lost the NLW Tag Team Championships to the Young Bucks, but you know what? It's in the past, and we move on, unlike Triple H, The Undertaker and Sting and all those jackasses I mentioned before. And in the main event last week, at the Hammerstein Ballroom, was where we cemented ourselves, where Mr. Rollins finally appeared. He curb-stomped Chris Jericho in the middle of the ring, he curb-stomped Tommy Dreamer onto thumbtacks, and showed why he is loyal, why he is an architect. And then the same thing happened on Metal. And I did say on the Christmas edition of Metal that the NWO were banned from ringside, and that was the case because at the time Seth Rollins was not a member of the NWO. But seeing how he pushed Sting through that table, I gotta say I was impressed. And now that leads in to where we are now. But just don't take it from me, take it from the man standing next to me. Seth, how did it feel curb stomping Jericho and Dreamer last week? How did it feel pushing Sting off that ladder? And how does it feel being the newest member of the NWO?
When I stood in this ring, it was right here actually, and I had the chair in my hand and I took a step back. And right before I swung as hard as I could, there was this moment, this clarity. And then I stepped forward and I struck right in the back and I looked over and I saw him trying to grasp what was happening. And before he knew what hit him, I dropped him too. It was incredible. It was nothing like I've ever felt in my entire life. You know who does understand that power? He understands more than anybody what it takes to get to the top. You can't sit around idly and wait for opportunities to come your way. No, you gotta strike while the iron is hot. You gotta create your own opportunities, and even more than that, you've gotta seize those opportunities. And don't think for 2 seconds that I wouldn't skewer my friends in the back and walk over their bodies to do what I gotta do to be the best.
You hear that? He seized the opportunity. You didn't, Triple H. You didn't, Undertaker. You didn't, Sting, Kane, Jericho, Dreamer, any of you. And tonight, in a blockbuster 8-man tag before Havoc, the NWO are going up against who I mentioned, the Brothers of Destruction, Triple H and Sting, in an 8-man tag. And Seth Rollins is going to prove his worth in the Elimination Chamber match at Havoc as well. So let this be...
Oh my! Well, I'm sure that the Commissioner wasn't expecting this. Chris Jericho, his music has hit, and there he is. The man who continuously, after week after week after week, keeps getting denied his Intercontinental title rematch.
Whoa. Nah, you stop there. Oh, you're not happy? You're not happy at having your head curb stomped in by Rollins last week, no? I don't blame you. I don't blame you, Jericho. And you're still committed to the idea that I cost you the Intercontinental Championship at the Royal Rumble. I just let it go, man. R-Truth is better than you, and he always will be. But you know what? Week after week I come out here and I keep on denying you your rematch for the Intercontinental Championship. And I feel bad. I feel bad about it that I've been postponing it. I just haven't had the time. I've been busy. You've seen I've been busy. I've been recruiting. And, gee, I hope there's some way I can make it up. Oh, hang on. Yeah, there is a way I can make it up to you. In our opening contest here tonight, the last episode before Havoc, you, Chris Jericho, are going to go one-on-one with this man, Seth Rollins. And if you somehow manage to beat Seth Rollins, I will give you your Intercontinental Championship rematch the night after Havoc. Whoever the champion may be, and we know who the champion's going to be, it's going to be R-Truth with the NWO. Of course it is. So you get your rematch if you win. But if you lose, that entitled rematch goes out the window. It's null and void. You will not get your entitled rematch for the Intercontinental Championship. So you might want to head in here now, because that match starts now.
Well, what a blockbuster stipulation. Chris Jericho going to have to go one-on-one with Seth Rollins. If he wins, he gets his Intercontinental title rematch that he's entitled to. However, if Rollins wins, that entitled rematch goes out the window. Jericho's going to have to face Rollins, and it's going to happen live next.
In times of battle, chaos reigns, and the sheep quickly turn into wolves. Men will do whatever it takes to claim victory, and their true nature will come to light. I am prepared to enter the battleground. Are you?
Ladies and gentlemen, you're looking live. Welcome back. This is our opening contest between Chris Jericho and Seth Rollins. If Rollins wins, then he, as the newest member of the NWO, will essentially not allow Chris Jericho to have his entitled Intercontinental title rematch. But if Jericho wins, he gets his Intercontinental title rematch, and he gets it the night after Havoc. But that's only if he wins. And already they're fighting on the outside. They've been fighting through the commercial break. And now you can see Seth Rollins with that boot. This is Rollins' one-on-one debut here in NLW. His first ever matchup here in the company. And with a victory here tonight could ensure that Chris Jericho loses his rematch. And now you can see Jericho stopping Rollins in his tracks with that punch. And you can see who's with me right now.
Yep, I'm here. I'm here as well. Don't worry about me.
Well, nevertheless, you can see Jericho with that reverse suplex and only gets a 2 count that time.
I'm going to continue on what you said. Yes, Jericho, oh my, phenomenal athlete. I've never denied that. But Seth Rollins is the new blood in this company, as you can see from that dropkick.
It certainly was a marvellous dropkick, but I've got to question the moral compass of Rollins. Oh my.
Well, you can question his moral compass if you'd like to, but as you can see already, Seth Rollins is a phenomenal specimen.
Well, that he is, but the fact that he's willing to stab anybody in the back to get ahead, it's quite evil, isn't it?
Well, you know what? That's what got the NWO where it is today.
Well, be that as it may, Seth Rollins is holding his own. There is a punch, rolls away, and now you can see Jericho's in trouble. Rollins now, there you go, and now he's reversed into the corner, and Rollins, oh my! Jericho had it well scouted in the Bulldog by Rollins, and I've noticed you're quite quiet here.
Well, the reason I'm quiet is because I'm very intrigued to see how Rollins is going to do in his first matchup as a member of the NWO.
But still you can see that Jericho is climbing to the top rope, and what has he got planned? What has Jericho got planned? Here you see the axe handle from the top rope, and now Rollins.
Well scouted by Rollins, and there you see the face buster into the turnbuckle, and that was painful. Even you could see that was painful.
And now Rollins on the top rope. What has he got to do? What has he got to say? What is he doing? He's on the top, but now reversed over and lands on his feet. And that was amazing. Look at this, a powerbomb in the corner. And a reverse clothesline that time as well. It's got to be over here, but Jericho still kicks out.
And even I don't understand how he kicked out of it, but he did. But then again, he's just prolonging the inevitable. Rollins is going to win.
Well, you certainly seem confident.
Well, I've been right in the past.
Yeah, but that's because you've interfered. I hope you're not going to interfere this time.
I can promise you I am not going to interfere in this contest.
And oh my! Now you can see the Lion Salt. He landed on the knees, and now that kick to the face, but Rollins couldn't get it that time either. With a win, Rollins will ensure that Jericho does not get his entitled rematch. But if Jericho wins,
which he won't, by the way.
Oh well, that's your opinion. Jericho wins, he does get his rematch, and he gets it out to Havoc. But Rollins with a springboard, and he is caught out. And now the walls of Jericho.
Rollins, do not tap, my friend. You can do this. Hang on in there, bud.
Well, now Rollins, he's got to get out of this somehow, and he does.
Great wherewithal to kick his way out of that.
And now Rollins, oh my! Well, Jericho drove for the code breaker, but a backdrop, and now reverse, but Jericho gets out of the way. Oh my! On the curb stomp from Rollins, he crawls into the cover. Oh no.
I think you mean, oh yes, my boy has done it again. Seth Rollins wins his debut and therefore ensures that Chris Jericho does not get his entitled rematch. Oh, a good day for justice.
Oh, will you shut the hell up?
Well, you know, Christmas is over. I don't have to give any of you guys my Christmas spirit. The fact is, Seth Rollins got what he deserved here tonight, and that was a victory.
Well, you can see that Jericho was so close. He tried the code breaker but got caught out, and then Rollins provided the arsenal to hit that curb stomp, and now the commissioner's, well, he's left my announce position and now he's going over to Rollins.
Well, you know what, better luck next time, Jericho. You know, it wasn't your night tonight, you lost to Rollins, and you're not going to get your Intercontinental Championship match. And, what was that? Oh no. Oh my. Well, this is really awkward, isn't it? This is really awkward. Jericho, Seth's just informed me that I forgot to say something at the start of this matchup, because you not getting your rematch wasn't the only consequence of you losing this match, and the other consequence of you losing this match was going to be, and again, I'm sorry for not saying this earlier, but how do I put this? Oh yeah, Jericho, you're fired.
What? No, what the hell? They can't possibly do this. And now they've just left, and Jericho's just... I can't believe this. So now he's just got to walk out of here, and he's... Not only has he not got his rematch, he's out the job. And where in the hell did the commissioner find these powers? Because he's just fired Chris Jericho here. And Jericho's gone, he's left. And I'm being told in my earpiece that I've got to get back on track, I'm sorry, but... Well, there you see the X Division champion Austin Aries, who does still have a job. And he's going to have to go one-on-one with Rob Van Dam at Havoc, but... The question is Rob Van Dam going to take the X Division championship from Aries? And... You know, I apologise. My mind's a bit frazzled. I just cannot believe what I've just seen. Jericho being fired, but you know what? Let's move on, I suppose. Jericho's gone, and there's not a lot we can do about it right now, is there? But what we can do is keep watching the action and try and get our minds off it, but it's going to be hard, you know. Nevertheless, there you see Rob Van Dam, who is the #1 contender for the X Division Championship, and some have been calling him the next X Division Champion. The most credible threat is what he's been labelled, because Austin Aries has been attacked by Van Dam on numerous occasions, and the last time that Van Dam and Austin Aries were in the same ring together was Metal a couple weeks ago, where Rob Van Dam essentially said he was extremely excited about becoming the X Division Champion. However, Rob Van Dam has one more task ahead of him before he faces Aries at Havoc, and that is the man who injured Aries' leg a couple weeks ago. That man is Christopher Daniels, and right now he is obviously going to be looking to try and get some momentum. In fact, more momentum, because last week at Extreme Reunion, Christopher Daniels won an X Division three-way dance, so he certainly got a lot of momentum in his pockets. And if he can defeat Rob Van Dam here tonight, he would continue to add to it. However, we shall see. Van Dam lost his debut match to CM Punk last week, however, did a spectacular move, and it's really hard to read Rob Van Dam, because on the one hand, he does some pretty despicable things at times, but hey, the fans love him. And now you can see right there, that's because he does things like this with the monkey flip to Daniels. And Christopher Daniels, the fallen angel, feels he should be the X Division champion, but it is Van Dam getting the shot at Aries at Havoc, and now Van Dam going for the Rolling Thunder, but Daniels very wise to roll out of the ring, and it wasn't a popular decision, but now Van Dam goes over, and he looks to try for the crossbody, but there is Daniels to deliver a massive fist to the face. And now Christopher Daniels, look at that, flips into the ring, but it is not enough. Rob Van Dam kicks out, and the ECW original having a whale of a time at the moment. Well, I shouldn't say he's having a whale of a time, he's having quite a go of it at the moment. Daniels going after him, but instead Daniels gets thrown right onto that barricade as Van Dam moves out of the way. And now RVD, the whole effing show, with that split-legged, I don't even know what to call that, he just threw himself. And then that kick right to the back of Daniels as he was on that barricade. And now Van Dam seems to be back in control, and a win here tonight would send a major message to the X-Division champion Austin Aries. Well, we've seen he's watching in the back, but we haven't seen him out here. And now Daniels trying to find himself in the ring. That certainly took a lot out of him, but that took a lot out of Van Dam in all. You can see that Pele to the back of his head, and now Christopher Daniels trying to slow the pace down, and this is really what he's got to do if he's going to try and beat Van Dam here. He chokes him out in the ropes and has a 5 count to work with. And now he's picked up again, and what is this? My goodness. Well, he just flipped him over his shoulders, and face first he goes onto the mat, and now this cross armbar. This armbar by Daniels, and looking for the submission win here. Van Dam's in trouble. He's seems to be in the center of the ring, but he's trying to crawl himself over to those ropes, and he does get there. And that means that Christopher Daniels has to break the hold. And Daniels did win a three-way dance last week. However, will that momentum translate here tonight? Van Dam on the top rope, but now he's pushed off by Daniels. But, well, I was about to say it was, but he seems to have landed on the barricade. Oh my! And Daniels didn't realise it. And that kick by Van Dam, thrusting into the face, and now on the top rope with a 5-star frog splash by Van Dam, and Van Dam picks up the victory. Van Dam with a hell of a victory, heading into his X-Division Championship matchup against Austin Aries at Havoc. Christopher Daniels, it wasn't his night tonight, but Van Dam is on top of the world, and there you see, can hit those moves out of nowhere, and that has obviously got to be a major threat to Austin Aries. And well, Van Dam was on the top rope, and then he was pushed off by Daniels, but Rob Van Dam landed on the barricade, a great athletic ability, and then came back into the ring unbeknownst to Christopher Daniels, got kicked in the face, and then that 5-star frog splash for the win. You can see Christopher Daniels, he is not happy, but you win some, you lose some, and Daniels obviously not happy that he lost this one, but Van Dam is certainly happy that he's won. And well, speak of the devil, there you see the man who was watching in the back earlier, and now he's out here, the X-Division champion Austin Aries. Is he impressed with what he's seen? He seems to suggest by his body language that he is. However, Austin Aries not budging. He is the X-Division champion, the only X-Division champion in NLW history, and he intends to keep it that way. It is Van Dam versus Aries for the X-Division title at Havoc. And also at Havoc, there's going to be a Buried Alive match and an Elimination Chamber match, both featuring members of the NWO. The Resistance, made up of Triple H, Kane, Undertaker and Sting, they take on the NWO, and that is happening in our next part. Do not miss it.